Hello, welcome to my channel, Books and Beads. I'm Becky. I love to read and I make jewelry. My current project is making a bookmark for every book I read this year. And in order to read more, I gotta buy more books. So today I have a book haul. I've been collecting books all throughout the year, so I thought I'd share what I've recently picked up. Some of these I've gotten at independent bookstores, some I've got at Target. They had a really good buy two get one sale, so I had to check that out. Love half-price books. Some of these are from there. You know we love Barnes & Noble. And then some of these are book fairies and thrifting finds as well. So let's dive in. We have over 30 books today that I have picked up. So lots of fun ones. Let's jump in. Let's start with books from book fairies or books that I have been gifted. I got A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This was book fairied to me by M.K. Reads over on Book Talk. She's super sweet. I love all of her content and I love being her book buddy over on Book Talk. Really excited about this one. This is a vampire Dracula story and the edges are deckled, which is really nice. You don't see that too often on paperbacks. So Constanta is saved from the brink of death by a mysterious stranger, transformed from a medieval peasant into a bride fit for Dracula. But as time goes on, Constanta starts realizing that maybe Dracula's not so good a guy. Who would have thought? So she starts unraveling Dracula's dark secrets. Love that. I love retellings of classics through a feminine lens. This one was given to me by my friend Lindsay, The Vermilion Emporium. This is by Jamie Paxton. I have read her The Absinthe Underground book, which I thought was so charming and sweet. I really loved that one. And this one apparently takes place in the same world. Some of the characters from The Absinthe Underground make an appearance in this book. So this book follows Twain, a lonely boy with a knack for danger. He discovers a strand of starlight on the cliffs of Severon. When he does, a mysterious curiosity shop appears in the town. We've also got Quenta, the ordinary daughter of an extraordinary circus performer. And she's chasing rumors of the Vermilion Emporium, which I'm going to take a guess is the curiosity shop that has shown up. So sounds like a good time. Then I was book fairied Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands by M.K. Fantasy over on Book Talk. Again, another great book talker. This is the sequel to the Encyclopedia of Fairies. I absolutely loved that one. That one just felt so cottagecore to me, and I love the main character, Emily Wilde, so I'm super excited to dive into her world again. And then I got another book fairy, Flawless by Elsie Silver. This is in the Chestnut Springs series, and I can't wait. I see so many good things about this series, so super excited to dive into this one. This one was gifted to me by someone in a Facebook group that I am in. The Facebook group is called The Bestie Bookshelf, and Leah from that group fairied me this book. So super excited, and it's perfect timing that she book fairied me this book because let's move on to our thrifted book finds. Because I found Reckless while thrifting. That helps us to segue into all of my thrifted book finds recently. So I found this one thrifting, and I knew the Chestnut Springs series was popular and that I was eventually going to read them, and I was debating, like, should I pick this one up? I think I can just jump into any of the books in any order, but luckily Leah was so sweet and gifted me Flawless, so I can start from the beginning and work my way up to Reckless. While thrifting, I also found Madame Tussauds. This is by Michelle Moran, and I love anything 18th century. That's one of my favorite time periods for historical fiction. This is about Marie Tussauds, who is learning the secrets of wax making and wax casting by working alongside her uncle in the famed wax museum. So if you've ever been to a Madame Tussauds wax museum, based on this lady. This spans 5 years of her life. It sounds very fascinating. Then I got Queen of the Sea by Dylan McConis, and this is actually a graphic novel. Just really beautiful art. I'm really excited to dive into this one. I was excited to find it thrifting. I love a good graphic novel. This graphic novel is actually inspired by the early years of Queen Elizabeth I, and it's also interwoven with fascinating details of 16th century convent life. The description says it's a highly illustrated novel of alternative history. I am hooked. And it says it's filled with secrets, intrigue, and thrilling adventure. Ooh, I can't wait. And then I found this really cool Outlandish companion, which is a companion book that goes with the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. There's really nice maps in this one. There's synopses of all of the different Outlander books, up to Drums of Autumn, because I think this was published in the middle of the books coming out. You get family trees, character descriptions, glossary, and pronunciation guides, which is really helpful for all the Gaelic. A look into some of the research that Diana Gabaldon did for these books, FAQs, and more. It seems like really great bonus material for any Outlander fan, and that kind of relates to another thing that I recently picked up that's bookish. I bought these gorgeous dust jackets for the Outlander series from Juniper Books. I love the spines on these. They just remind me of Claire's Apothecary. So I bought the dust jackets. So my mission now is to find all of the hardcover Outlander books at thrift stores so I can use these dust jackets for them. So that's my new little side quest, my bookish side quest. Okay, now let's look at some Target books that I've picked up. So I did the buy two, get one sale, and there were a lot of good books to choose from that one. I ended up going with Abby Jimenez, Just for the Summer. By the way, this is not a sticker, it's permanently on the book, and I find that to be so rude, but whatever. I haven't read Abby Jimenez yet, but I've heard good things. This one is about a woman named Emma who thinks she's cursed when it comes to love. Every guy she dates finds their true love after they break up. And it's also about Justin, and he says he is love's good luck charm. So these two come up with an ingenious plan. If they date each other, their curses will cancel out and they'll go on to find their loves. But then maybe they start falling for each other. So it sounds super cute, and it sounds like there's some family drama in there as well. So I'm interested to see where this one ends up. Then I got the 7-Year Slip. I've seen so many good things about this book. This is about a girl who moves into her late aunt's apartment, and there's just a strange man standing in there. Turns out this man exists 7 years in the past. So the apartment is like a pinch in time, as the back of the book says. So really unique concept. I can't wait to see where that one goes. Then I picked up Leigh Bardugo's The Familiar. Look at those sprayed edges, and the end papers are just so pretty. So I could not resist. Again, this one is a little bit of historical fiction infused with magic, which that's my favorite. So this is about a girl named Lucia who uses magic to get through the day, but she's discovered by the disgraced secretary to Spain's king. He starts to try and use Lucia to gain favor again. But this all takes place during the Spanish Inquisition, and Lucia is Jewish, so that's a problem during this whole thing. So it'll be really cool to read this one. I've heard a lot of good things, and I love that there's just magic interwoven throughout all of this. So Leigh Bardugo wrote Shadow and Bone, and I have read the first Shadow and Bone book and enjoyed it, so I think this is going to be a fun time. I've picked up other books at Target lately too. I got Lord of the Fading Lands by C.L. Wilson. I've heard good things about C.L. Wilson's The Winter King, and I really want to read that one, but my goal for that one is to just find it out in the wild. I want to find it like at a used bookstore or something. But I did see this one at Target and picked it up. I've heard that Sarah J. Maas was influenced by C.L. Wilson's writing, and this one sounded very good if you're into stories like ACOTAR. It's about an immortal Fae king who has vanished into the fading lands for 1,000 years. An ancient familiar evil arises, so he has to come back to the mortal world to save everyone. So he's looking for this key that will help in this salvation. And his search leads him to Elsetta, who is a woodcarver's daughter. And she has magic, secret magic. And they kind of are attracted to each other. So this sounds right up my alley. And then we have The Night and Its Moon by Piper C.J. Again, I'm going to complain about the stickers. Why do they put the stickers right on the title of the book? Rude. This is about Nox and Amaris, who have grown up in an orphanage. Amaris is Fae-touched, and the orphanage is going to sell them off. So not a great orphanage. A brothel offers to take Amaris, but Nox volunteers to take her place. And then Amaris ends up becoming an assassin. And they are trying to reunite at some point in their lives. There's a war going on, which is a conflict between Fae and human. It sounds very epic and very magical, so I was intrigued. I've also got some books from Barnes & Noble, so let's take a look at those. Picked up Juniper and Thorn by Ava Reid. I loved Ava Reid's writing in Lady Macbeth, which I read earlier this year, so I wanted to pick up something else by this author because, the writing is just so good. This one is about 3 sisters who live in a world that's shifting from magic to industry, and they're the city's last true witches. So it sounds like there's a little bit of a doomed love story happening in here with magic thrown in. I cannot resist. I also picked up A Touch of Chaos. This one's by Scarlett St. Clair. It is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I've read one Hades and Persephone retelling this year. I would love to dive into another one, and I've seen a lot of people loving this book, so I thought I'd pick it up. The Titans are released, the gods are at war, and Hades has been taken captive. Persephone is taking charge in this one. I love the sound of that. Then I got The God of Endings. This one is by Jacqueline Holland. This one is a vampire book. It's about Colette. Colette is a lonely artist who heads a school of fine arts, and she has a secret. She's a vampire, or at least immortal. Her life is upended because this stalking presence from her past comes back. She is thirsting more and more for blood, and this strange new child enrolls in her school. It sounded really thought-provoking, so had to give it a try. Next, I got One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. This one is one of my favorite booktuber. Carrie can read. This is one of her favorites, so definitely had to pick it up on her recommendation. It's about 2 rival witch families fighting to maintain control of criminal empires, which sounds really cool. Then I got Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This one is a Regency book with fae. That alone sold me. Sounds really great. Then I was super excited to see this one at Barnes & Noble, Neferura by Milena Evans. And this one, I am all about all things ancient Egypt. So I had this one on my Amazon wish list, and when I saw it at Barnes & Noble, I had to pick it up because I was just so excited to see it. So definitely interested in this one. Then I found Circe by Madeline Miller, and this is a gorgeous hardcover edition with orange sprayed edges. I had not seen this before. I've been eyeing this book for a while, so when I saw this pretty edition, I thought I would grab it. And even the back is like, so pretty. So this one is a retelling of the Odyssey from Circe, the witch's perspective. Look at the inside too. I'm obsessed. Then I got From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've seen a lot of people online loving this book, and my bestie Lindsay is reading this one, and she says she's enjoying it too. The back of this book says it's captivating and action-packed and perfect for Sarah J. Maas fans. It's about a girl who's been chosen from birth to be the property of the gods, but one of her guards falls in love with her. I'm already hooked. Then I picked up Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I started listening to the audiobook on this one, and I knew it was a book that I wanted to read, but I would actually need to sit down and read and pay attention because there's a lot going on in this one. There's a lot of world building already happening when I first started the audiobook, so I thought I'm going to pick up the physical copy and read this one because I found myself during the audiobook not paying as close attention, so I really wanted to give this one its due. Chisana has grown up in a life of slavery, and she tries to buy her freedom but ends up murdering someone really powerful. She flees and starts a new life. So this one sounds really epic, and it's reminding me of Throne of Glass so far, so really excited for this one. Look at that cover, so pretty. Then I got a couple books from Half Price Books. I got Powerless. This comes highly recommended by a lot of people I trust. It's about the elites that have possessed power for decades, and about the ordinary. If you're born ordinary, you're just like, meh, no one cares. You're banished from the kingdom and shunned. Rude. Peyton is an ordinary who's pretending to be an elite, a psychic. She unwittingly saves a prince who is named Kai, and because she does that, she's thrown into the Purging Trials, which is a competition to showcase elite power, which sounds a little bit like the Hunger Games, and I think there's a love story in there as well. So, ooh, sounds very exciting. Then I went to a charity auction, and they had a bunch of book baskets that you could bid on. And some of them, a lot of them I had included books that I had already read, but there was one that included books that I hadn't read any of them. So I bid on that one and I won. So I got 4 fun books from that little charity auction basket. I got Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is about Alex, a devil blessed with the face of an angel and cursed with a past he can't escape. So he's like looking for vengeance. He's got a haunted past. He doesn't have any time for love. Then he starts seeing his best friend's sister in a whole new light. So I think that'll be a fun, kind of frothy read. Also got Protecting What's His by Tessa Bailey. This is about a criminal and a cop fall in love. So enemies to lover, I'm gonna guess. Okay, had to take my sweatshirt off. I was getting a little warm. Also in the charity auction basket was It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey, another Tessa Bailey book. And this one takes place in Washington State, which is super exciting. This one is described as a Schitt's Creek-inspired rom-com where a Hollywood socialite, it girl, is cut off from her wealthy family and exiled to a small Pacific Northwest beach town. And she butts head with a surly, sexy local. So that sounds super cute. And then I got The Simple Wild by K.A. Tucker. This is about a woman who grew up in Alaska, but then she left Alaska and has been living in Toronto and has never looked back. But then she discovers that her father may only have days to live. So she has to go back to Alaska to help deal with that. And she also has to deal with Jonah, who is an employee of her dad. So it sounds like forced proximity, enemies to lover type situation. These next books I got from independent bookstores. I got Wayward by Amelia Hart. This one takes place in Wayward Cottage and it switches time periods from present day to the 1600s to the 1940s during World War II. So very cool. Oddity, this is a YA novel and I just love the cover. This one says it's like a richly imagined blend of Lloyd Alexander's The Black Cauldron and Philip Pullman's The Golden Compass. The Golden Compass is one of my favorite YA series, so definitely had to pick it up. I got Drizzle Dreams and Love Struck Things by Mary Prasad. This takes place in the Pacific Northwest. Again, it revolves around an inn and the sisters who help run it, and it looks like it's going to take place throughout the seasons based on the cover. I got this one on TikTok Shop. Sky of Thorns by Flora de Villani, and look at those pretty sprayed edges. This one is described as The Last Unicorn. It's about a unicorn shifter. Sounds very magical, fantastical. Very excited for this one. And it's signed too. And finally, I got A Taste of Blood and Wine by Frida Warrington. This is another vampire novel, and ooh, it's pretty thick, so this should be interesting. Takes place like during World War I in the 1920s, so I'm into it. Those are all of my books that I've picked up recently. We got a lot of good ones. Let me know, do any of those speak to you? Make sure to leave a comment. What have you picked up recently? And make sure to subscribe to my channel, follow along. Let's be book buds. I will see you for the next one. Bye.